Listen, I'm positive for so many things. I'm positive for never giving up. I'm positive for that virus. That's a virus. That there are many viruses in the world. And I'm positive for that. So I put that clip out, but I put it out in a way that might have been a little misleading to say I'm positive COVID-19, but if you go to the video, you understand what I'm talking about. So there are these I always get these overly sensitive, mostly men, they're mostly Latin men. I don't know why. I guess it's part of the culture. Mostly very, very dramatic. Oh my God, Oliver, this is a horrible way to deliver your message, and oh my God. Like just very over the top, very, I don't know, like in my opinion, listen, I'm a New Yorker, listen, so my attitude's always going to be like that. That's weak to me. I'll be honest with you, that's weak. As a New Yorker, that's just weak. Like, dude, you're majoring in minor things. Focus on the major message I was delivering. Now, guys, look, I have been, throughout my lifetime, I have come across people with many viruses. I've come across people infected by the virus of racism. And wow, is that a really nasty, ugly virus? Oh yes, if you think that's not a virus, then you are incredibly naive. I've come across people positive for the virus of racism, and it is a virus. I've come across people in my life infected with the virus of hate, and they do everything they can to spread that virus to others. They not only hate, but they want you to hate. And if they can grab your ear, if they can grab a moment of your attention, they will do their best to spread that virus of hate. I've come across people like that in my life. I've come across people in my life who are infected with the virus of envy. All they want to do is do their best to bring down anyone that works, that dedicates themselves to something, because that makes their lack of work and dedication, that makes them feel inadequate. And they are infected by this virus. They wake up every morning thinking about how to bring you down, how to undo you. They dedicate their lives, their every waking moment. That's not a virus? Oh yes, these are very dangerous viruses. Prejudice is a virus. Hate is a virus. It can infect you. Disillusionment is a virus. You understand? You can be affected by envy. That's a virus. Despair, virus. You understand? And so tomorrow I will be doing another post. I will be doubling down on this concept. What are you positive for? Because there are positive viruses as well. And I believe that you want to try to work toward being infected by the viruses that not only uplift others, but the viruses that uplift you. You know? I believe in the ancient Egyptian mystical truism. A lot of people don't understand the deeper mystical meanings behind some of the hieroglyphics on the walls of the pyramids in Egypt that were done some thousands of years ago. We all most of us are familiar with the Egyptian hieroglyphic on the walls of many pyramids, where you have this Egyptian, right, in traditional Egyptian garb, right, walking. So there's this walking, but with one hand up to the sky and another hand pointed down to the ground, and the figure is actually sideways like this. So the feet are pointing this way. One hand is pointing above, the other hand is lower, pointing below, and the figure is sideways. In fact, there was a popular dance, some of you might be too young for this, back in the 80s, I think it was, Walk Like an Egyptian. I don't know if you remember that, but anyway, that was a popular song back in the 80s. I'm dating myself, I know this. And so this walk of the Egyptian, hand up, hand down, feet pointing this way, and you walk. There's a very mystical meaning behind this, and I've shared this with so many of my traders before, but that is a very important lesson in life, because what it depicts is that you only have, you only have a right to receive from the gods above you. From the gods above you, or your God above you, or from anyone that's above you. You have the right to receive from that which is above you only if you are giving this hand to those beneath you. So as long as there is this hand giving to those that are less than you, you have a right to receive from those that are above you, and you will, with this combination, progress in life. Boom, boom. The feet going this way. Progression, right? And so if you withdraw this hand receives nothing. Do you understand? If you withdraw this hand, you just are a giver and not a receiver. And so you need both to walk like an Egyptian, right? To progress, you need both. That receiving is just as important as giving, and giving is just as important as receiving, and you need both to create the full circle. And that circle is what causes progression. And I believed in this philosophy from a very, very young age. You know, so guys, everyone doesn't always agree with the ways in which I dispense my experience. Everyone doesn't like the way that I communicate what I want to share, my ideas, my knowledge, my information. And I understand that. You know, I'm not here to please every single individual. I tend to, and what I do tends to appeal to people that can look past certain things. I appeal to slightly more educated and intelligent individuals, and I don't mean that as a slight, but that's the world I come from. You know, my parents put me through and worked very hard to put me through some of the best educational institutions on this in the United States. And as a result of that, I speak through that education. And that speaking and that sharing tends to hit home more with people of a similar intelligent level. And a lot of times my conflicts with people are with people who can't really reach that high. And I know that's going to come off wrong, and I know I'm going to get in trouble for that too. But it's true. And I accept that. I accept that. But I just want you to understand that almost everything that I do has just one real goal, is to impart or to share something that I've learned in some way. And I think that's this hand. And as long as I keep doing that, I have my personal right to receive from that which is greater than me. I have that personal right to receive blessings from above because I am constantly sharing what I've learned, what I've gained, what I've realized. And it is that walk like an Egyptian. And that's what I do. And I think that that is what protects me. I think that that is what, that has been the secret, in a sense, behind my longevity. I see that the hearts have stopped, but I think that's a good sign in a way, because maybe you're just touched or captivated, I hope. But I appreciate that. It's a amazing work for the industry. I really appreciate that. And so, look, guys, it's not my job to appeal to everyone. I can't, and I don't want to. That would be scary. I don't want to appeal to everyone. I want to appeal to a certain type. I want to appeal to the sincerest individuals out there, the most dedicated people, the people who are touched, the people who are moved in a great way by this, that there's a calling on their part. I'm not interested in people that are looking for drama or looking for some story, or I'm not interested in the highly skeptical individual. Look, you don't belong to me yet. You're skeptical, go out there. All right? And find yourself first. You don't belong with me yet. You know? And it's not that I see myself as some savior or anything. I don't. But there are not many people with 38 years in this business. And so I can't just approach this as if that doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? So it means a lot. Like if I were getting into something new, I would search out the most experienced person in that thing to follow and to be close to. I wouldn't search out the person with the least amount of time in that thing. That wouldn't make sense to me. So no matter what it is that I'm interested in, that's the first thing. Who has the longest record in this thing? Who has one of the most experienced, documented experienced length of time in this thing? That's who I want to be with. I don't want to be with someone who's claiming their expertise, but their time doesn't match that. So that's the first thing. And it's not that someone can't be good with a relatively short period of time. You know, some people can be talented that way. I admit that. But that's so rare, it's not even freaking worth time most of the time. Most of the time, it is long-term experience that creates the expertise that you're looking for. So I can't. People want me to not make that important. Like my 38 years is not important in this. And they call that ego. I'm sorry, that's not ego. That's factual. That is factual. And it's not ego if it's real. It's not ego if it's factual. It just is what it is. You know. But I will tell you this. I will tell you this. I think I'm biased, of course. I think I'm the least egotistical person out here. I'm not throwing money up in the air in my videos, right? I'm not driving around in Ferraris and Lamborghinis, although I've had them all. All right? And if you ever want proof of that, you can find that. All right? I've had all the cars, homes all over the world, all of that, but that has never been my style to do that. I would rather put out a video on trading information or trading knowledge or something that motivates you than to show you cars and money on a table and throwing it up in the air. I've done it to mock fun at the people who do that sometimes, but not seriously. I've shown you $100,000 on a desk or whatever, but that was just to mock fun at these individuals. That is not my style. When it comes to ego, I think I'm one of the least egotistical people out there, because my whole grind, every day I wake up, my thought process is, what can I do? What can I do to help my traders become better? And even those who are not my traders, what can I do to motivate them and keep them moving forward, not quitting? That is my everyday motivation. You're my everyday motivation. That is for real. And I put a lot of time into that. And I don't ask anything for that. I have programs. Yes. I'm still recruiting traders for my team. Yes. Does that have a cost? Yes. But if you're not able to do that or don't want to do that, can you still learn and grow? Absolutely, with my content. So I always make sure there's that balance. There's that you don't have to be part of my family to grow. You can still grow. And I do that every single day of my life. I don't take on sponsorships from other companies that come to me every week. Oliver, we want to sponsor your Facebook page. You're verified. We want to sponsor your YouTube videos. You've got 130 some odd thousand subscribers. We can pay you this a month just, to your audience. I don't do that. I turn all of that stuff down. I'm not interested in that. This is not, for me, this is not for money. This part's not for money. I want to share my experience out there. I made that promise to myself and to my personal God a long time ago. So I don't do the sponsorship game. When you watch my videos on YouTube, you don't hear me pounding the table every single video trying to stuff something down your throat. I give you information, I give you knowledge, I share my experience, and that's it. You don't get that from me. All right? But if I really wanted to sell my stuff, every single video, you couldn't escape it. Do you understand? That is not what you get from me. That is not my goal. That's not my objective. Not interested in that. I only want people entering my family who are somehow touched in a deep way, who are moved. I want someone who's moved by what I put out there. And if you're not, cool. That's cool. That means that, look, that's a sign you don't belong in my life. Thank you. I don't belong in your life. Thank you. Who wants the wrong people in their lives? So I feel that I don't have to do that. I feel that I don't have to sell you. I offer what we do, and that's it. You know what I mean? And trust me, the last thing, I don't need your $1,000 or whatever it is, $1,500. I don't need that to survive and live my life. Trust me. Just trust me. I'm a long way from that, but I do feel that trading is one of those last bastions of total independence. It's one of the last activities on planet Earth that has the ability to transform people's lives, that has the ability to radically change an entire family's history, that with just a laptop computer, an internet connection, and some basic, simple but powerful knowledge, access to capital, all of which I provide, you can change your whole family's lineage. I am a living testament to that. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are living testaments to that. And I think that this is one of, I'm on a mission because I think this is one of the key solutions to some of the world's greatest social ills. It solves some of the world's greatest lacks, if I will, for lack of a better word. So look, most of what creates a divide and creates these different levels of people on earth are lacks. So we group people by lacks, what they lack. So if a person is educated and this person is not educated, the lack of education creates a different class from the educated. So now you've got two classes, educated, non-educated. So the lack of education creates classism, right? Then you have the lack of access to training. So education and training is different, right? So education, you can gain education reading a book, but training is hands-on. That's very different. So education without training is not very complete. A person can spend their whole life in their closet reading books, and they're educated through their reading of books, but have they had any training with actual application of their education? And that is very important. So there's the lack of education, creates classism. The lack of training creates another level of classism. Then you have the lack of access to the current technology. So think about this. Think about the part of the world that doesn't have access to the internet. Aren't they a different class from the people in the world that have access to the internet, that can go on Google and research a topic? Think about that. The access to technology. What about the part of the world that doesn't have the access to computers? Aren't they a different class than the people who have access to computers? Of course they are. So my point is that all of these different lacks, right, create different levels of people in the eyes of the world. So classism is created by these lacks. There are four major lacks. Now we've covered three of them. Lack of education creates educated, non-educated, two classes. Then training. That goes a different level. Lack of proper training in your skill or a skill creates another layer of lack. I'm skilled, you have no skills. You are worthless compared to the person who is trained and skilled. Then you have the third, lack of access to technology. The person who has no access to a computer, the person who has no access to the internet, versus the person who has access to those things are on completely different levels. All right? Then those are three things. Now the fourth one, access to capital. My God, probably the most important one. All right? So if you don't have money in our society, you are really, truly a nobody. You are worthless. Of course, we have programs that try to camouflage your worthlessness in this society. We have flowery words and even laws that camouflage the fact that people without access to capital they are not the same as people with access to capital. And if you believe that there is a such thing as equality in our existence, you're very naive. It doesn't exist, especially when it comes to these four things. And out of the four things, the number one thing is lack of access to capital. So what did I do, traders? I decided to leave my cushy world in Wall Street and bring Wall Street to Main Street, and to provide access to the education. I will educate you. Access to training, that's what you do on the simulator, right? You get trained first. You learn first, education. Then you practice first. That's the simulator. Just like a pilot, you read the books about aerodynamics first. Then you get on the simulator before you risk people's lives in the air. All right? So education first, training first, access to technology. I give you the best trading platforms on planet Earth to make sure that what you've been trained with, you can flow through the right technology and not be raped by the wrong technology. And I give you my money, my capital. So I took these four lacks, right? Put them together into a single program to try my best to bring this to places like Latin America, who barely knew how to spell the word stock. But why were these areas important to me? Because I realized that if I go to a country where the average salary a month is $250, like Colombia, $250, $300 a month is the average salary, or the base salary, let's say. Do you know how easy it is for me to train someone to make more than $300 in a month trading if I give them $50,000, if I give them the proper training, the proper education, the proper technology? I can make a real difference in people's lives. So I left the world of changing rich people's lives for a lot of money to saying, let me take my skill and my life's work and go to where people really can be affected by this. And there are people who crucify me for that. There are people who are saying that I'm bringing bad things to them. It's crazy, but it's the price you pay.